Hello, my name's Tom Carhill. It's Friday, the 14th of November 2014. I'm just making a video about Michael Doherty. Now, anybody who's been following Michael Doherty for a while will know that his story is the police have been harassing him and causing him lots of problems, and he said it's the Masons and all that stuff. And maybe they have done. I'm not exactly sure. But you see, the point with Michael is he seemed to be kind of a full-time litigant, if you like, because he was starting these private prosecutions and stuff, and that all seemed good. And my interest in him had been I'd had some problems with the police and stuff like that. Not corruption in the police, and how they were covering up for criminals, and they were clearly tipping criminals off, and just generally behaving the way you hear about them behaving all the time. But people don't really know to what extent they do it, and they don't know to what extent it involves other policemen, because they all know policemen themselves, and they think, well, they're not involved with it, and not often they're not involved with it. So that's how I got to know him. Now, the first time I actually spoke to him, I hadn't sought him out. I actually met him at the UK column had this kind of thing, I think maybe 2 years or 3 years ago, in a Quaker House in Euston, and I met him there. And the thing is, what kind of confuses a lot of people about him, now a lot of people say, oh, he always wears good clothes. You can't wear good clothes if you haven't got any money. And it's like, well, I don't necessarily think wearing good clothes means you've got money, because I always wear good clothes when I'm going somewhere where it's appropriate, and it doesn't necessarily mean I've got any money. So I think that's a bit of a red herring. But you see, the point is that Michael set up various things. Like, he's got this Twitter account is Just Law, but the S is a 5. That's his Twitter. And he's got this Cam4, like a 4 the number, Justice, which is his one of his, I think that's his that's another of his kind of trading names, to use that, and I'll explain that in a minute. And another one is Just Law. On Skype he comes up as Just Law, right? So, but on top of that, you see, this is the thing, this is where it starts getting interesting. This is what this video is about. He's put up this company a while ago, and he's recently dissolved it, or it's recently been dissolved. Hasn't had any accounts filed, and it's a limited company. It's not a charity. It's not a not-for-profit organisation. It's not anything like that. It's a limited company. Now, if you look this limited company up, you'll find it's been dissolved, and you sort of think, well, why then on his website, Justice Now, is he still got a donate button? Now, someone tells me they've just donated some money to this company, £1 or something, and the money's bounced back. Right, now just think through this, right? Why would you send back a donation? Why would you do it? Now, you might say, oh, a lot of people say, oh, well, if it's only £1, you might think they're up to something. Well, if somebody's up to something, how is it going to change it if you send the money back? It's just going to make it look more suspicious, because if you look at it in a linear fashion, instead of updating your website, you might do something like remove the donate buttons, and maybe even say, I've just dissolved my company. You could even put it on there. But you see, the thing is, it's highly suspicious. Now, this is the other thing. In the past, more than a year ago now, I opened up my computer in the morning, and I saw on Facebook that Michael Doherty had put a post up, or it was coming from his account, so presumably he'd done it, and it said that he'd received, I can't swear to the numbers, but it was a bigger number. I think it was £4 million. It was definitely in the millions. A £4 million donation has been made to his company. Right, so for one, why would he put that up? Then he removed it immediately. But other people have seen it. A few other people have seen it. But you see, it's so strange, because it's such a sort of shock to see that in the morning, that a lot of people will think, oh, was I just dreaming? Was I half asleep? But other people have seen it. So, well, I know I wasn't dreaming. I definitely wasn't, And the other thing is, that's very important here, is that even though sometimes you're in a kind of dream state in the morning, it's important to remember that you can't dream numbers. Yeah, you can't dream written words. You can dream symbols and things, but your subconscious can't read can't read and write. It can only understand symbols. So that's why certain words and things have a kind of power because of the sound of them, and they might have like a sort of, like a kind of a deeper meaning to the shape of the letters and stuff. But you can't remember it in standard conventional linguistic terms. So it's impossible that you would remember that. You see what I mean? You can't actually do it. That's what the best information I've found has told me. Right, so you've got Michael getting given £4 million, or at least that's what his Facebook says. And then I questioned him on that, not in an adversarial way. And basically, he sort of said, no, you're mad, that's nonsense, something along those lines. And then when I asked him again, he blocked me. Now, this is what Michael does. He blocks people from stuff. Right now, I've got it. I'll put it up on Scribd, and I'll put the link in the, or I'll put the link on this video in a minute. What it is that if you do a company's house web search, that's how I found out the company's dissolved. It's not, his company's not registered at his address. It's registered somewhere in central London, I think in the city. And I typed in that postcode of that building, and I put Guy Carpenter next to it, right? And it immediately cropped up Guy Carpenter right now. So I'm sure there's other businesses in that building, or there might be. But why are Guy Carpenter's? Why this association with Guy Carpenter is very strange, because some people have told me that Ian Puddick also works for Guy Carpenter. Now, for those of you who don't know who Guy Carpenter is, I wouldn't have known. The reason Guy Carpenter are the biggest reinsurance company in the world, so they kind of insure or underwrite other insurance companies, right? So they're a massive firm, and they are a massive firm. They're a huge firm, huge financial firm. But you see, the thing is that Ian Puddick's story is that Guy Carpenter were behind getting Kroll to harass him. This is all allegedly, because Ian just constantly lies, so you can never really trust anything he says to be true. But other people are saying, no, we phoned up Guy Carpenter and asked to speak to Ian Puddick, and they said, oh, he never comes in, but he's on like he's on the list, but he doesn't come into work there, right? So it looks like, and I haven't checked myself, but this link to Guy Carpenter is incredibly strange. Why would these two anti-police or alleged anti-police activists both have this weird, tangible association to Guy Carpenter? And then also, why would Michael Doherty be taking down his company or letting his company go down? And when people have asked him, again, unblocked from all his Facebook and all that stuff, all of these counterintelligence program people are all quite intimidated by me. They know that I'm not stupid. They can trick me for a while, but once I start asking them probing questions, that's the end. I'll just hear nothing from them, and they just start slagging me off and saying like I abuse animals or I'm a paedophile or something. Just the standard sort of stuff that they say, and or what else, like I'm a homo. Yeah, they'll also be like befriending loads of homos. They just say all this stupid stuff. Nothing to really worry about. But you see, the thing with Michael Doherty is this association with Guy Carpenter is really weird. Claiming to get £4 million to his company. He definitely did say it was his company. I remember that. That was what the post said. Then it's disappeared. So there's something very weird going on there. There's a lot very weird going on there. Also, one time when I was speaking to Michael, because I did actually speak to him on the phone a few times. Now, you see, I'm not one of these people who just slags people off for no reason. And if I think someone seems okay in lots of ways he does seem okay. Now, you've got to remember though, fucking shouting for no reason. Yeah, what it is with Michael Doherty is he's actually okay to speak to. He didn't come across really arrogant to me. Yet every other single person who's met him says he comes across as really arrogant, and lots of people really don't like him. Now, that could just be social aptitude, and he knows that for certain people that's not going to work, and he doesn't feel any need to do it. So maybe that's what it was. That's probably what it was, because I often hear people say, well, look, nobody likes that person, you think they're okay, and you realise, oh, it's because they're very manipulative, but they realise it won't work with me, so they don't try it. That's what it is. And that's just the way with everybody. Different people will behave differently around you. But you see, the thing is, the upshot of it is, I spoke to Michael for more than an hour on a few occasions, and he actually gave me lots of useful information, because he's not like your thick as fuck Ian Puddick type who knows nothing and just has connections and then thinks he's like the Jewish James Bond, and he just goes around harassing people and stalking people and doing openly criminal things all the time, and he just thinks that he's going to get away with it. He's obviously not going to get away with it, because it's just embarrassing too many. He's just a complete embarrassment, and it's just getting worse and worse with him. But you see, if you look at Ian Puddick's last trailer for his film, he's done 2 trailers, both of which are largely fraudulent, and I'll explain why in a minute. The second one, Michael Doherty, acts as the kind of presenter. And Michael, who's always very confident and very arrogant, right? Like if you see him on the People's Voice interview, he almost took up the whole sofa. He just exuded arrogance, right? It's quite incredible. He absolutely loves himself. When he was doing the interview for Ian Puddick, it wasn't very much of an interview, but he was asking questions and stuff. He pronounced his own name incorrectly, like completely wrong, and he kept pronouncing words completely incorrectly. Now, I know how he speaks. He's got that kind of sort of Londonish accent, but he's also got like a Ponzi thing. Like he thinks that you come across better if you kind of pronounce certain words in a certain way. But it wasn't that. It was just like he just completely forgotten how to talk. Now, it looks to me that, you know, obviously Ian Puddick's his boss. Ian Puddick tells him what to do. That I've got no doubt of that whatsoever. So he's got roped into doing that film with him, and he can't even speak. So what kind of pressure is he under? So he's gone from the most arrogant person you've ever come across, or, you know, when he's doing presentations, he's a good speaker, he does very well, who's very knowledgeable about a lot of stuff. You know, he does look into his subject area, because as I said, he's been helpful. I have been helpful. We'll never give you any citations or anything like that. Obviously not, because there's obviously something wrong with his story when you look back at it. But his story is plausible apart from that. It's not like Ian's. You know, it doesn't involve people wanking at his phone and stuff. No, it doesn't involve any crazy homosexual stuff like that, like Ian Puddick does. You know, he's not an Ian Puddick. He's completely different. But Ian is his boss, and we've all worked for bosses who are thick as fuck. And, you know, there were constant embarrassment. Now, that's what Ian Puddick is to Michael. Now, as soon as I've brought it up, the reason that Ian Puddick's two film trailers are fraudulent, I'll say this, I'll deal with the first one. The first one's got this Jewish guy who works for some kind of, not Panorama, something like that. And the inference is that it's going to get taken up. His story is going to get taken up by Dispatches, I think it is. Now, I'm told Ian paid him 1,500 quid to ask him a few questions and sound very profound, and it was definitely going to happen this film. And now this all fell apart, because then later Michael's put up another film, and on the next film he's put it up, or it's up on Live Leaks, attached to his website, so it goes to the Live Leaks website where the video is hosted, and it's hosted by someone called Press TV. Now, Press TV is the Iranian news channel, but, like, for instance, I looked down the other ones that Press TV had put up, and one of them was called, like, Fuck Iran, and stuff like this. It's clearly not Press TV. And then what he's gone and done is he's got this ex-MI5 plonker who's also on it. Michael Walkin features again. His story slightly changes from the last one. So, you know, like, it's just, why would you put up two trailers? Why wouldn't you get the Dispatches guy to do it again? Why are you involving Michael Doherty? Do you see what I mean? So, I think that Michael Doherty is being stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? So, he's got a registered company, which is registered in a city, for sort of a city office, that Carter Ruck use, and not Carter Ruck, Guy Carpenter use. Ian Puddick has allegedly worked for them as well. I think he probably does work for them. I bet they're paying him. Obviously, he's not doing any work because he's an incapable. I think he used to be a window dresser, even though he makes claims that he was a business sort of, you know, kind of business development consultant or something. Obviously, he's not. I think he was a window dresser, and in his previous life. And despite all of these ridiculous claims that I've seen up on the internet, like how he spoke to 70,000 people plus at Twickenham. Now, how many business development events in Twickenham get 70,000 people? The answer is they don't. And he apparently did it for a company. People look the company up. The company doesn't exist. So, well, I mean, the whole point is with Ian Puddick. He's just an incredible liar. I mean, he's even got in trouble with the Advertising Standards Association or agency, and you can look this up very easily, for putting up lies about associating his company with rogue traders and saying that he was like the expert to sort of set up the problems for them and all this. And he did have some involvement with it, but he was told to take it all down. Now, he still puts all that up there. And also, again, in his totally crass, inappropriate way, he also does online stalking from his company address. Now, there's another thing you should watch out for, right? If you phone up Ian's company, which is Leak Busters, which used to be London Boiler Company, which was which his dad owned. I think when his dad died, or maybe his dad's not dead, but whatever, Ian's taken it over now, and he's calling it Leak Busters. And you've got all the silly potty humour vans with the, so it looks like the driver's sitting on a toilet on the side of the vans. Now, if you would like to find out more about that company, right, it's based in London. Now, most people who use quite expensive plumbing companies in London, they get up on the Saturday in the morning, maybe 10:30, 11, maybe 9, whatever. They make a cup of tea and they get on with the things they need to do that day, which would be getting a plumber around. Now, I'm told he used to have 25 vans, and now he's only got 17. But somebody phoned him up last weekend or the weekend before and said to the guy, I've got his name, I forget though, I've got it all written down. They said, I've got this plumbing emergency, can he come out? And he said, no, it's only me on work today and I'm in the other part of London. Now, what kind of business has 17, let's just say it's 17 vans still, in London, all idle at the weekend, when that will be your #1 call-out time? It's absolutely incompetent. It's got Ian Puddick written all over it. Now, the other thing is, if you look up Leak Busters, right, you've got his staff. I'm not talking about his technicians, his plumbers. I'm talking about his actual staff. And in his staff, you've got an ex-police inspector. Now, if you're just working in an office, right, it's about 10 of them. If you're working in an office, why would you have, and why would you be employing ex-police inspectors? They get quite a lot of money. They're not going to sort of downgrade to go and work answering the phones for plumbers. And if you've got about 10, I've worked in similar industries in the past, and I can tell you for a fact, you don't have 10 people managing 17 people or 25 people. You'd have to have about 500 vans or something. You know what I mean? It'd be a huge operation to have that many people. Now, also, I know people who've been to Ian Puddick's office for his business, and they say, well, there's not even enough desk space to fit more than about 3 people in there. There's not loads of computers everywhere. There's about 3 or 4 computers, something like that. So they couldn't all work there anyway. Now, if you look into some more of these people, one of them is this Jewish subversive. He's got an Irish name, but you think he's Irish, but he's a Jewish subversive. You can look up lots of stuff about him, and he calls himself Guido Fawkes. So quite clearly, Ian's Leak Buster company, he's got lots of other companies as well. He's using them as a place to kind of, give cover for Jewish subversive activities. That's what he's doing. So Michael Doherty is linked to this, though. Now, I don't think Michael Doherty's a Jew, but what the Jewish subversives seem to do is they line somebody up to take the rap, someone who's not a Jew. And I think that Michael Doherty has been lined up so that they can flush him, and hopefully all of the wrongness will go with him. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, because I think he's just gone mad. I mean, if you look at his Facebook page at the minute, he's got this picture up on there of him pissing into the water at the beach, and then you've got another picture, which I sort of blush to talk about. Basically, what it is, and so forgive me, it's got like 3 or 4 naked men lying on the floor with their legs up, so they're lying flat on their back, their legs up, and you can sort of see their arseholes. And it's called No Vag Bros. Right now, that is both homosexual and it's misogynistic as well, if you think about it. So, you've got poor old Michael Doherty, thinks he's going to make a few £1 million doing a bit of snidey business for whatever reason, probably get some law changed or something like that. And then he's got involved with this mad, mental homosexual freak, Ian Puddick, and now he's getting him embroiled in his nonsense case, which probably didn't happen the way we think it, well, we're led to believe it did, about him getting bullied by the police, when he clearly works with the police. You see what I mean? It's a complete joke. But, as I said, Michael Doherty, I wouldn't say he's not to be trusted, because I think he's actually alright, but he's not to be trusted in that he's clearly doing something which he's not explaining about. He'll never give you any citations. He's always very, very, very scared that people will find out where he lives. Now, why, if the police are after you and causing you a problem, would you care about the general public knowing where you are? The police know where you live. They can just look it up. The police are notorious for abusing and looking up people where they live. They can do that easily. It's not a big deal. It's not like they have to get special permission and stuff. So, That's all I'll say on it now. What's going to happen to Michael Doherty? He's blocking lots of people who ask him awkward questions. He's now getting associated with crazy homosexual Ian Puddick, and with his cover marriage, and Bill Maloney, and the pro-paedophile counterintelligence program, whoever's running it, and I'm not sure. I dread to think who's running it. I've got lots of ideas, but I can only speculate. Masons are definitely involved, which, again, a lot of Masons are not going to be very happy about when they find out what their Jews are going to pay for. £4 million to Michael Doherty to make an idiot of himself. Anyway, my name's Tom Carhill, and it's Friday the 14th of November 2014. I'd like to know what you think. As I said, I'd invite you to have a look at their websites, because it just does not make sense. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.